These are like the best timings for you to get to Kenya and also save some money. I have been traveling for over 9 years in Kenya, and I have helped over hundreds of clients planning their trip to Kenya, and they're all like having the same issues in being overwhelmed, being stressed out, not knowing who to trust, not knowing where to go, and there are like just so many questions where you feel unsafe. And going on a safari or planning your trip to Kenya should make you excited, should make you like, yes, I'm going there. And we're not lying here, like you're gonna spend a lot of money on your safari most likely. So I just want you to feel safe and in peace. And that's why I thought the best thing I can do to help you plan all that is by sitting down on a one-on-one level, me and you, and then we can just chit-chat and I answer the top 10 questions. And yeah, let's dive right into it. Number 1, when is the best time to travel? Well, of course, you can just go to Google this or ask ChatGPT, but I will give you more than they can even tell you. So, of course, you find like the best travel time they will tell you is from July to October, because that's our high season time. That's where the world famous migration is happening. And this is especially for safari and in Masai Mara. But is this really the best time to travel? I am not sure. Definitely what you should consider is the raining season. So we have a raining season, which is the big one from March to May. And if you go to the coast, maybe as well in June, it can rain a bit. And then we have a second one from October, November. But this is like the small one. The issue is that the last years, I know it's climate change, but it has not been raining that much even to that times. But of course, if it's raining in Kenya, it can rain like the entire night, sometimes even the entire day. But mostly it will rain the entire night, and then daytime, there's literally no rain. Still, however, this is not a good time to come or to go to Masai Mara, especially around April, because most of the camps or some of the camps, they might even be completely closed down. Because what happens when it truly rains in Kenya, the parks, they can be flooded. Like there's no way you're going to pass bad roads or you go even to some of the camps. So that's why if you are a safari type and you really want to go on a safari, maybe the raining season, that time is not the best idea. So now the question remains, Sinja, when is the best time? And let me tell you, it's in between, according to me, in between the high season and in between the raining season. This is called like our shoulder season, because then you will not have so many tourists coming. The prices are not overrated and crazy high. And yeah, you have your peace. It's most likely not raining. And the shoulder season times is a good one, is around June. Another one is like end of November, beginning of December, up to around 15th of December. And another one I would say is from 15th of January and February. So I think these are like the best timings for you to get to Kenya and also save some money. The second question, what are the must destinations in Kenya? And oh my God, I am getting this question all the time. Like you have no idea how many people ask me just like, Sinja, what are your favorite, like what are your recommendations? What should I do? What is like the top things to do? And it's not easy to answer because like in Kenya, Kenya is so diverse. We have, of course, the safari parts. We have the beach. We have the mountains. We have the desert. We have rainforest. So you can find any type of nature here. So I cannot just tell you like the top experiences. And actually, I'm recording an entire full episode about off the beaten path, the hidden gems in Kenya. Like, according to me, like what I found so far, the past 9 years of traveling, and what I think like is truly worth it and spectacular going there. And so this will be a full entire episode for itself. So if you are interested, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on that episode as well. Yeah, but what I have to say is like, let's say for the first time traveler to Kenya, definitely safari, Masai Mara is a must. Because you see, Masai Mara is where you have the best chances to see the big five. And, it's the best game, like lions, leopards, cheetah. Like, this is what, not everyone, but majority of the people come for. So that's why definitely Masai Mara. Then you will most likely not find rhinos in Masai Mara. They're there. It's just that they're less. So maybe combining with Nakuru or another park which has rhinos. We have like 10 or 15 national parks plus private conservancies and so many parks as well, like private, so that you can't even count them, like they are endless. So the best is like, if you're wondering like what to do and what to figure out best, which experience and which park is best for you, you can download our free Kenya travel checklist, which you find down in the link below. And inside there, somewhere you will find a link to apply for a free call with either me or one of my team members, so that we can help you figure out what are the experiences you want and is best for you. Because I know, and I get you, it's very confusing and there are just too many to explain them to you here right now. And at the end of the day, it's about what fits best to you and why you came to Kenya firsthand. So yeah, apart from Masai Mara, then maybe Nakuru or Naivasha. Oh God, add Naivasha on that list just for the outdoor and nature. Because what happens is that on safari, you are like a lot inside the car driving and it's getting tired and oh my God, you just want to get out of the car, believe me. So in Naivasha, you can be outside and have maybe a bicycle safari or a horse riding safari or just walking or hikes. So you can include some nature experiences as well with animals. And also, of course, go to the coast. There's Diani, beautiful. There's Lamu. So many places I can just like tell you. And also 1-2 days in Mombasa, or at least 1 day in Mombasa, I would put it on the list as well. How long should I plan for my trip to Kenya? Well, so I would say most of my clients who come to Kenya, they spend at least 10 days because I think 7 days is a bit short. So everything above 7 days is a good start. If you really want to travel and explore, make it 2 weeks or maybe even longer. Because to be honest, I'm a big fan of slow travel and I've been traveling so much in Kenya that even like after 9 years, I'm still traveling and experiencing and exploring new things and areas. And there's still so much on my list where I haven't gone or haven't gone into details or where I want to go back. So yeah, 10 days to 14 days is a good start. Number 4, is it safe to travel to Kenya? Oh my God. How many times have I gotten this question? Or you just go, it doesn't matter which embassies you go on their official webpage, travel warning, terrorism, Al-Shabaab. And yes, I get it. These warnings are there and it's true. Like there have been attacks happening. Like I'm not lying. This is happening or it was happening in the past. And of course it can happen in the future. But what I find is like there are some certain ways on how you can plan your trip to Kenya to be safe and also to feel safe. So one thing is one thing is you should not travel everywhere in Kenya. Like there are some certain areas which is close to the border of Somalia, close to the border of South Sudan, where you should not go. Also that includes going to Lamu. Like don't get me wrong, Lamu Island is very safe. I love Lamu. I've been there several times. I will go back there anytime. But if you want to go there, don't go by public transport, don't go via road, just go and take the plane, just to be on the safe side, for example. So in these small things like you have to consider when you put your itinerary together to be safe. Then a few areas like in Nairobi or Mombasa, but I think this is just like in every other big city, it's the same thing. Like don't do things in Kenya which you would not do at home as well. Like have this like confidence and trust in yourself, in your gut, and be aware of your surroundings and don't behave differently to the way you would be at home. And this means especially one big rule in Kenya is don't walk alone in darkness. Never, ever, ever. And it gets dark pretty early, by around 6:30 or 7, it's dark. So just take an Uber or a taxi, and they're so cheap here. So please do not think about saving money for something and then risking your life. So these are just a few tips and rules you have to consider while you're here. Then another thing is because then they'll be like, Sinja, but what if something happened? Like, to be honest, first of all, I want to tell you, I have never, ever felt unsafe while traveling in Kenya. I've been traveling here I mentioned now 10 times, but for 9 years by myself, like 7 years by myself, the last 1.5 years, I travel with my boy. He's now turning 2 soon in August. And you can travel alone as a woman. You can even travel alone as a woman with your child. That is fine. So don't think like because it's Africa, it's unsafe. So another thing I want you to know or consider is like a few more rules when you come here is that when you walk around like in big cities, for example, like Nairobi or Mombasa or any crowded areas is where I feel like is the most danger. Like what can happen there is like no one will come with a gun or no one will come with a knife or something like that. But what can happen is that they snatch your phone or your purse, your bag. Things like that happen on a regular basis. So which means is if you're in a car driving, for example, in traffic, just close your car, like the windows. Close the car from outside as well, but as well close the windows so that no one, especially the motorbikes are the ones, they can snatch your phone. You can't even react that fast and your phone is gone. Bye-bye, iPhone. So this happens anytime. The same when you walk in the streets. They are so clever and smart. They open your backpack. They do whatever. You will not see it. You will not find it. But when you go to the restaurant and you want to pay, money, phone, gone. So these are a few rules and tips and tricks you have to consider. Like I always take my phone directly to my body, for example, or I hold it even in my hand, which is also not the smartest thing to do. Then also when you're in Nairobi or in Mombasa, just get a guide who goes with you. Like I have some pretty cool guides in Nairobi and as well Mombasa for like walking tours and this kind of thing. So if you are the walking type and you're interested in that, and then I'm sure you know where to find me and I can help you to organize this because this is the safest way on how to do it. Anywhere else, like when you're on your safari, when you're in the car, you are 110% safe. You have a driver guide who's there for you. He is making sure that everything is fine. You can leave your phone there, your camera there, your binocular there, whatever you have, just in the car. No one is going to touch it. Nothing is going to get lost, even in your hotels. Not unless you sleep in really shitty locations. But that's what I'm saying. If you book like with proper tour operators, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels, nothing is ever going to happen to your luggage or to yourself. Number 5, what are the official visa requirements for Kenya? So this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So you need to get an online visa before entering Kenya. There is no visa on arrival anymore. So what you need is, of course, you need a passport, which is valid for another 6 months, which has 2 more pages left. And then you need your flight ticket booked. You need your, and booking confirmation either from your tour operator or from the hotel so that you can get in and you get approved your visa. So that's actually the only thing you need. Then you upload everything for your online visa. Just make sure you take the official one, which is www.avisa.jo.ke, not any others. There are too many spams outside here trying to just get your money, and then you will end up paying double, triple of the money, and you might not even get a visa. So go through the official one and just upload it like maybe around 2 weeks before you come. You can start applying for it. It will take just like a day or 2 working days so that you have your visa. Yeah. Number 6, which vaccines do I need? First of all, I am not a doctor, so don't quote me for anything I'm saying here, please. So I can just tell you, like from a friend to friend or sister perspective, like what I think is good and what I do for myself. Just go and check out WHO, what they recommend for Kenya, but you will find like 10 or even 15 vaccines recommended. And I think what is really, really important is get the standards like hepatitis A, B. I think this is like the standards. And then cholera is one more thing, which I feel like there have been cholera outbreaks the last years in Kenya. So I would recommend that because it's quite recent and it is actually happening in this country. And also yellow fever. Now, yellow fever depends on the country you're from. If you are from a yellow fever risk country, you need it. If you're not, like you're from Europe, from the US, there's no need. But you have to go back and check from which country you're coming from, or if you have recently traveled to one which has yellow fever risk. Okay, but still, even if you're not, like you're from Germany like myself, you can still get one if you want. And you have to get this latest 10 days before you travel inside to the country. But for everything else, like I highly, highly, highly recommend go and see a specialist, a doctor who is known for tropical disease in your country, not just general doctors, because to be honest, they have no clue. I have made that experience many times in Germany. So go to a tropical institute or something, someone who can really recommend you, like who can really help you out and advise you properly. And then make your own decision, because the doctor most likely will tell you, get this. You come home with a list of 10, 15. Still narrow down, ask yourself again, make more research, and wonder, do you really come in close contact with like animals? Because most likely you will not. There's no need, you will not touch animals. They are not most likely gonna bite you. Like, you will only drink water from safe, like bottled water, or from your hotel, which is safe water, eat good food. So that's why I'm saying it also depends on the living style you're having while you're traveling in Kenya, so that you're just like more conscious about actually not taking any street food, or just like eat food like in the most local places. Don't do that. Only drink water which is bottled or from your hotel room, so that you have these safety measurements for yourself as well. Number 7, what is the Great Migration? When is it? And is it worth it? So I have already mentioned at the beginning of this episode about the Great Migration. So this one is happening in Masai Mara around July to October. So now what is happening is that we have around 1.5 million wildebeest, or maybe even more. They are traveling from Tanzania, from the Serengeti, crossing the border to Kenya. And it's one of the biggest world spectaculars ever. So I really think it's worth it to go and see it. But also it has its like downside, let's say that way, because you might find so many animals now inside the park. Like, the park is green because it has been just recently raining. There's a lot of food. That's why all the animals are here. And then the crossing is like, it's insane. But, and that's a big but, the thing is that you might find another hundreds cars being there at the same spot, looking at the crossing the way you are, because it's the high season time. And I feel like, at least when I travel, that I don't want to be that person next to another 100 of cars watching. There's one way around. I think if you do it like in more private conservancies in Masai Mara, and also if you do it in more like medium budget and luxury hotels, they might have their own spots and better ways around, so that you don't feel like there's so many other tourists. But then you have to put way more money into that, because these accommodations or private conservancies are not cheap at all. Yeah, so is it worth it? I think it's worth it to do it once in your lifetime. But if you're a first-time traveler, I think, honestly, I don't know if I would avoid it and better come in the shoulder season times, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. But this is, of course, up to you. This is just my personal advice to you. Number 8, how much does a safari cost? And yeah, this can really be a big thing. Like, I have so many clients reaching out to me asking, oh my God, Sinja, I applied to like, well, I don't know, 3 or 4 different tour operators. I got quotes between $2,000 and $10,000. Like, how comes? Why the big difference? Like, do they just charge whatever they want to charge? And yes, might happen as well. But the biggest difference is the hotels you are choosing. You can spend a night in Masai Mara or on safari for $20 per night, or you can spend it for $2,000 per night. Then additionally, safaris are expensive because you will have to pay your own car and driver. You have to pay entrance fee. And right now, even Masai Mara is like getting up the entry fee even double as high as it was before. So the prices are going to be crazy. But an average, I would say, is like if you do a private safari, average is around $300 to $500 per person. $500, you're really on a good side for medium budget. $300 maybe on the lower side. Maybe if you're 2 people, you can hit that. Alone, it's very difficult. That's what I'm saying. If you're multiple people, you're going to share the cost of the driver and the car. So your cost for safari will be cheaper, because a Land Cruiser itself costs you around $250 USD per day. So getting a budget in place, medium budget, private safari, $300 to $500 is a good start. If you want luxury, $1,000 per person per day, I would say. And high-end luxury, maybe $2,000. No, don't freak out if you're like the low-budget traveler, the volunteer, and you just want to do a safari. They are group safaris, so you can find another group. I can also help you with that. Where you travel for as cheap as $110, $120, $130 per person per day, which includes the car, the driver, entry fee, your tented accommodation. But it is a low budget thing. You are in a group, and but it's also a good experience. This is more for the low budget, the volunteers, the students, this type of travelers. Number 9, what should I pack for my trip to Kenya? So first, I need you to know that it can be cold in Kenya as well. Yes, you're in Africa, but it can get cold, especially in the mornings or evenings if you're going to go on a game drive. So pack like a jumper or like a blanket, something to cover yourself in case of cold. That's why I believe on safari, it's the best thing to wear like a layer system where you have like a top here, then another jacket and jumper on top. So whenever it gets warm in the afternoon, the sun comes out because it can get really, really hot. You can just remove it. And also, I think you can even pack like different types of shoes. Yes, you should wear closed shoes on safari. But if you're the entire day inside the car, you can still wear flip-flops or open shoes. But the moment you get out, you have to watch out that your flip-flops or your shoes are proper shoes because you have a lot of thorns here and you don't want to hurt yourself by walking on the ground. Additionally, of course, get a safari hat, any sun protection, your sun lotion and sunglasses. That's really important. Then pack yourself a day pack for your, like a day backpack for your safari, which has like moisturizers, wet wipes and sanitizer. Oh my God, this is so important. Like even now, my hands, you're dirty all the time. Because here it's just damn dusty. Especially on safari. You don't know like where you're going. Like it is gonna be dusty. So having these wet wipes to just be able to clean yourself quickly or before you have lunch or a snack is a really good idea. Also, packing snacks, by the way, is a really, really good idea because you might find yourself on a road trip for like 6 hours driving on the road from Nairobi to Masai Mara, for example. And of course, you stop for lunch or something, but having your own snacks just in between, maybe it's just me, but that's a very important thing for myself. Yeah, so should be a good tip for you as well, especially if you have kids or you just like eating. Then another thing I would say you have to pack is, of course, an adapter. So you need the Type G. These are the ones from the UK. My lifesaver always is a power bank. If I go for longer trips, I even carry 2 power banks. I use them all the time. And a first aid kit. For the first aid kit, nothing big. Like, don't think like, oh my God, what do I have to pack? It's just the basics, like some plasters. I always have painkillers. I get headaches easily when I travel. I think because of the change of the climate, the humidity, everything. Then anti-diarrhea pills. You can get, like we just call it like traveler diarrhea. Happens many cases. Just have something with you. And maybe your anti-malaria pills. Some take it as prophylaxis. Others take it on standby. This is also something you will discuss with your doctor when you go and see him and ask for advice. But in general, I wouldn't worry too much about the first aid kit. Like have some basics. Then in case you get sick, just tell the driver, or the best actually is if you have the annual flying insurance, which I have as well. And that means, doesn't matter where you are in this world in Kenya, is they will get you with a helicopter, for example, in Masai Mara, in northern Kenya, doesn't matter where, and then they take you with a helicopter to the best hospital. Like, to be honest, the best hospitals are in Nairobi. So you can request for that, and they take you there. And then if you're really sick, or if you have fever for 1-2 days, you have to go to a hospital. And then you get your treatment in Kenya in the hospital directly. Of course, I hope this is not going to happen, but it's just good to have these insurances upfront so that in case of something, you also know what to do. On top, here, my bottom French travel press. I love it. I have it everywhere. So it's a French press inside where you can make fresh coffee. Not like the instant one, real proper coffee. Oh. And then maybe also think about some more respectful clothes, especially if you want to see the Maasai village, or if you go to Mombasa Old Town, or places like that, or volunteer in an organization, that you cover yourself. So we always say, like, as a woman, maybe a long dress or even a trouser, but it shouldn't be like too tight and, that you don't show up there half naked. And then I think like, oh my God, what the hell? So show respect of the culture where you're traveling to. That's why just pack 1-2 long dresses, easy flowing summer dresses, I would say, or I would suggest. Yeah. Good. Then the last one, number 10, which is the best tour operator in Kenya. Do you know how many times I get DMs on my Instagram, and then they're just like, yeah, just recommend me a tour operator. But this is not that easy. Like, I do work with several tour operators in Kenya for that reason that different tour operators have different strengths. Like, if you want a private safari, luxury safari, I have one. If you want a low budget or group joining, I have a different one. If you want to hike Mount Kenya, I have different guides. If you want like just hotel bookings, sometimes I tell you, just book the hotels by yourself. Like, it's not necessary everything to have it organized by a tour operator. That's why getting a travel consultant, I think, as well, is a good idea, to also knowing, okay, when is it worth it to book something through the tour operator? When can I just go in booking.com and book it myself, for example? When is that cheaper or better? And but in case you need help, I hope I know I am a travel consultant, and if you want my help, you can download the free Kenya travel checklist. Inside there, you'll find more details, more way for us to apply for a free call with me or one of my team members. And then from there, we see if this is a good fit, if we can work together, if I can help you to plan your trip so that you are traveling safe and stress-free. I think this is the biggest one, so that you just don't worry about anything and you can just be excited and be like, yeah, my trip is gonna start. So if you like this episode, I know this was talking a lot. Subscribe and also wait for the next ones, because they're gonna come up an entire episodes now. The next one's about how to plan your trip from A to Z. Another one about the hidden gems, my favorite ones, and so many more. So I'm excited for that one, and hopefully I see you back here very soon.